Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. I'm Lauren, if you haven't met me before, and I run an intervention center or school called OMATIS, which stands for Opportunities Multiply as They Are Seized. And this is certainly a time for opportunities and for seizing them, which makes me want to chat a little bit about when we don't seize opportunities and how we should be handling that and whether we need to seize every opportunity. And I certainly don't think we need to seize every opportunity. But there is one that has stood out for me in this lockdown schooling, quarantine schooling period. And it's about being left behind with technology. So a couple of years back, my dad's in his 70s, and a couple of years back, I had noted that he was still using an old phone. It wasn't a smartphone. Everyone else was on smartphones. This was maybe 3, 4 years ago, and he wasn't. And he was really resisting it until a friend of his said, you know, if you don't upgrade now, what will happen in 5, 10 years' time? You're going to be so far behind, you're not going to be able to catch up. So the advice he was given was to get on board now so that you are not so far behind. And I'm seeing the same thing happen with children and home schooling at home. So I'm not talking about the kids who don't have access to devices and to Wi-Fi or data. That's a whole nother discussion. I'm talking about the kids who do, but have chosen not to use things at their disposal. So a case in point is having a video camera on your device and having your teacher being able to see you and you being able to see the class. What we found in the beginning of all of this lockdown is the kids couldn't help looking at themselves. I mean, even now I'm looking at myself. So you get engaged by this, who's this person in the mirror? And you fix, take my hair, you fix your hair, and then these kids are fiddling with their teeth and looking up their noses, and they're really engaging with the video. And then all of that, if that's allowed in the beginning, they get used to it, and then it becomes a norm, and they can settle down and really listen. So if teachers are wise, they should be allowing kids to experience this and really get into it. So if it's a Zoom session, get them to change their name and get them to mute and unmute and really play around with the system so that then they can settle down. Because if you don't allow them to do that, especially with this videoing, if you don't allow them to get close and check what their ear looks like in the video, then they will do that anyway. It'll just take them longer to get over it. So what we've noticed is the kids who haven't had mics or haven't had good cameras or haven't had devices for the first couple of weeks of the lockdown schooling and have now got the devices, everyone else has moved on. So no one else is looking in their camera and checking out their teeth anymore, but these kids are. And then teachers have to kind of go back. So there's a school in the area, it's a high school, and the principal has come out to say that when we're back for matrics, they will all write tests in the morning, and then the classes will be divided between the kids that stayed up with the work and the kids that didn't. And I think that's really fair, because if your kid did all the work and is now ready to move on, why should he have to go back 2 months? But equally, the kid who wasn't able to keep up with their work or decided not to shouldn't be 2 months ahead and missing that chunk. So they really are taking care of both levels. But at a more basic level, if you didn't get on board quickly with what your school was asking, then your kid is behind. And this happened with teaching as well. So I had one of my teachers who was off on sick leave, legitimately off on sick leave, and she was 4 days behind the other teachers, and she can still feel how she's behind, and it's now been 60 days. So I think early onset take on of technology and of opportunities and of processes keeps your kids in sync with everybody else. And it's really not a towing the line thing. And it's really not, you could be anti-establishment. That's fine, be anti-establishment. But then know that where everybody else is now on point B, you might still be at point A. And then the trouble of catching up. And that would be the same with schoolwork as well. So it's fantastic that we are given the permission to be anxious if we are anxious, to lock down and bed down and not, so many social media posts are saying, never mind about the schooling, it's okay. And if you need to hear that, that's fantastic. But you've got to know that other people are moving on. And if moving on creates huge anxiety, then the trade-off is, no, we'll catch up, it's fine. We'll back down and make sure our family is fine. But if you don't have to do that, I would strongly recommend that you take the help that's out there and you keep up with the rest of the world. Otherwise, you might end up 2 years behind everybody else and struggling to be part of what you need to be part of. So I think ultimately it comes down to absolutely every single one of you has choice. That's what we have. We have choice every moment. But we have to know that with the choice comes a responsibility and a consequence. You can't just choose to sit and sleep all day and then be in the same position as the kid who didn't. So I hope them's fighting words, or maybe it's an eye-opener, or maybe the next video I do needs to be about, so how do you jump on board and fight when your whole body is saying, no, I can't do this. I'll check you soon. Bye.